Hi, folks. This is John with Remodeling Wizards of Maryland, and I'm here today as part of our How Do I Choose a Contractor series to talk with you about a real important criteria, and that is, can your contractor pull a permit from the county or the city? Now, let's talk about permits and the reason why that's important, that the contractor can actually pull the permit. The reason you want your contractor to pull a permit is, first of all, you want to make sure the contractor is very familiar with what needs to get done, and that when he's building an addition or a deck or doing any work in the house, that he's doing it to code. The permit By pulling a permit, a building inspector will come out to your home and will check to make sure that the project is getting done to code. In addition to that, the county would have a record. They'll have some plans in place, so they'll know exactly what it is that you're doing and how it's getting done. Now, why do I say that the contractor should pull the permit? A couple reasons for that. First of all, a homeowner can pull their own permit. Sometimes you may talk to a contractor who says to you, I want you to pull the permit. I'm not going to pull the permit. There's a reason for that many times. Not all the time, but there's a reason for that. And it could be that the contractor does not have a MHIC license. It's a Maryland Home Improvement Commission license. You need to have a license as a contractor to pull a permit. And when the contractor goes to the county to get the permit, the county or the city, in this case Baltimore City or Howard County and Arundel County, the counties will check to make sure that your contractor does have license. And if the contractor does have license, then the contractor can pull the permit. Let's talk about permits. Um, when do you need to get a permit? You don't need a permit for all home improvement work. For example, if you're going to be painting your home, you don't need a permit. If you're going to paint the exterior of your home, you may need to get HOA approval. That's your homeowners association. That is totally different. Homeowners association is just something that's in your community. You have some laws and regulations of what you can do in your home, what you can't do in your home. That's between you and your HOA. The permit is issued through the county or through the city. Permits are more designed that things are done to code. Things are put in the right place and right location around your home, because there's some restrictions to where and what you can put up around your home, even from a permit perspective. So HOA is one thing, permits is something different. In many cases, you're going to need both. You're going to need your HOA's approval, and in addition, you're going to need to get your building permit. Why do we want to get a building permit? Well, first of all, it's the law. If you're going to be doing work in your home, you need to get a building permit. Now, we were talking a little bit about when do you need one, when don't you need a permit? Well, like I said, certain things you don't need a permit for. So if you're painting your house, if you're putting new kitchen cabinets in, you don't need a permit. If you're putting in new windows or new doors, you do not need a permit. And this is, again, I'm talking in general. This is most of the counties in Maryland and the city of Baltimore. Now, let's talk about windows and doors and even kitchen cabinets. Well, you don't need a permit if you're just putting those items in. Let's say that you want to cut a hole into the side of your house and make an opening for a window and door. Now you need a permit. The reason you need the permit is because it's structural work. Once you get into structural work, it becomes a safety issue. If it's not built correctly, your wall might fall down, your house might fall down. Things can happen. So once you start doing structural work, you are going to want to get a permit. But if you're putting a window or a door in an existing opening and you're not doing anything to the structure of the house, typically you can do that in every county without pulling a permit, a building permit. So there's times when you need a permit and there's times when you don't need a permit. The next thing is, how do I get a permit? Well, first of all, if you hire a good, legitimate contractor, the contractor can handle the whole thing. You don't need to be involved. To pull permits, you need to do a couple of things. Let's say you want to add an addition or a deck to your home. Now you're working on the outside of your home, the exterior of the house. Well, one of the things that you're going to need to bring with you when you apply for the permit, and again, hopefully it's the contractor that handles all the footwork because it can be time consuming to get a permit and there's a lot of details behind it. But if you're doing exterior work, one of the things that the county is going to want to see, or the city, let's say you're doing a rooftop deck in the city of Baltimore, well, they're going to want to see a location survey of your house. The reason they want to see that is there are certain requirements and there's certain what they call setbacks around your property. So you want to build a deck that goes out 16 feet from the back of your house. And you think to yourself, well, I have a nice big yard. Sure, I could be able to do 16, 20, as far as I want to go, because I have 60 feet in the back of my house or 50 feet in the back of my house. That's not how it works. In your neighborhood, you will have a restriction. You may only be able to build 12 feet out from your home. So that's one of the things that you need to bring with you to get a permit is a location survey that shows where your house is, shows the property line, and then you draw on that where the proposed work is going. And this way, the county is able to see where the setbacks are, how far the edge of that deck is from your property line. And again, each neighborhood has a different regulation. It's all set by the county and by the city, and it's something that you would have to check with the permit department, your Department of Licensing and Inspection and Zoning, to find out where what your setbacks are. The other thing that in many cases you need to have to get a permit is your construction plans, drawings of what the project looks like. Now, you don't always need that in every single county. Sometimes it depends on the size of the project. So, if a smaller deck, you may not need to show construction plans at all, but you will need to show the location and get it through zoning. Now, in our case, and I think most good contractors, no matter what the size of the project is, you're going to want a construction drawing. The reason you want that is so that you, as the homeowner, know exactly what's getting built. The contractor knows what is being built, so that when a carpenter shows up to do the work, the carpenter has a drawing and the carpenter can use it. We always give our carpenters drawings in order to do their work. And I would say that most good contractors do the same thing, unless it's a very simple job like replacing a door, for example. But in that case, you don't need a permit anyway. Um, so there are the things that you need to bring. The other thing is you will get a fee for a permit. So that when you go to the county and you go to the city, there's a fee that you have to pay to get the permit. Now, if it's a small project like building a deck, for example, the permit cost may not be that much. We just did a small deck in Baltimore County, and the permit cost $85. And each county has its own fee schedule. And if you want to see what that fee schedule is, you can either call the county up and ask. If you can't get through to somebody, and a number of the counties, particularly now, ever since COVID, it's difficult to get someone on the phone. If you can't get them on the phone, go to the website, see if there's an email address, and send an email and ask for the fee. Some of the counties, like Anne Arundel County, they have calculators where you can go online and you can calculate what your fee is. And I think some of the other counties do too. But that's something you can find out directly from the county. And of course, your contractor, when the contractor applies for the permit, is going to know what the fee is and pay the fee, and to make sure that you're able to get your permit processed. How do you do this? You can do it online. You can do it in person. You can do it by mail. Um, Most contractors, I know in our case, what we do is we have accounts with the various counties, with Anne Arundel County and Howard County and Baltimore County, Baltimore City, and we're able to go online through our account and do the application there, and which is really a nice thing. It's actually something that I really think came out of COVID, because before that you would have to go to the county and take a ticket and just sit there and just wait until your turn and then you were able to talk to somebody to process the permit. So there are all the things that are important about a permit, but number one, you want to make sure that you get a permit if a permit's needed, because once you get that permit, you have some issues that the county's going to be protecting you, or the city, in a way, because they're coming out and they're making an inspection. They're looking at things that you may not have a clue about. They're looking at the structure, and they're making sure that things are built to code. The other thing is, some people say, well, I don't want to get a permit. Why do I need a permit? I'll just do the work. Well, yeah, you can do that. And sometimes you can actually get away with it. If you get caught, it could be a big issue. I've seen situations where, first of all, you get a stop work order so that you can't continue work if you're in the process of it. I was looking at a project where somebody wanted to expand a deck, and we found out that they didn't have an initial permit, and the county came out and it was built in the wrong location, and the county wanted it torn down. So something like that can happen. The other thing that I've seen happen is when you go to sell your home. I've seen homeowners, new buyers, and they'll go to the county and they'll say, there's a new deck in the back of this house, or there's an addition in the back of the house. Can you show me the permit? They'll ask the county, was there a permit pulled? And if there's not, now you have something else you have to deal with, trying to sell a home, and you have a home that's wasn't built properly because there was not a permit pulled, or it may have been built correctly, but there was no permit pulled. So it's a real issue, because if there wasn't a permit pulled, the county or the city can come in and say, hey, you're going to get a fine, you're going to have to tear it down, you're going to have to modify it, you're going to have to, there's some things that are going to have to occur that you're just not going to want to deal with. Believe me, if you need to get a permit, get the permit. It's not that hard. And if you hire a good contractor, the contractor can take care of the whole thing. So hopefully that gives you some good information about permits. And I'm glad you listened to this video. And if you know anybody else that has questions or thinking about doing any remodeling work, and they need information, please share my videos. Thank you.